Hi. Hi. I wanted to talk a little bit about my Candida infection, and I've been struggling sort of with Candida from what I know, about 7 years that it started recurring, and like the signs of Candida within specifically like in the genital area would be more persistent, and it doesn't really go away with like the conventional sort of medication or topical creams, and I overlooked it for a while. I never knew it was really serious. I went to my family doctor. She referred me to a specialist, and he looked at it and he sort of said, "Oh, this is very normal, and it's nothing to worry about. Just take Canesten and treat it." But I never, I trusted his sort of knowledge and his expertise at that time over downlooking a Candida as if it was like sort of a common, very basic or simple infection. In fact, Candida is can be a very dangerous infection if left untreated on the long run. I learned that sort of the hard way. I was developing some very bad digestive sort of symptoms, IBS symptoms, but more on the aggressive stage, because I would have extreme pain during like using the washroom, extreme lower intestine pain. I was being more forgetful at times. My eyesight, I could see better during the day at times, and then at other times I wouldn't see as well, more fuzzy, blurry. I would be able to remember things at times much better than certain days, especially when the days, winter times, when it's more cloudy outside. More intense symptoms would show up, like bloating in the stomach. I was overweight. My typical weight when I was 19 years old was about 170 pounds. And because of, I guess, work, or even because of the diet itself that I was consuming, I gained up to about 220 pounds, 215, 220 pounds as I last recall. I've lost most of that off. In the last 8 months, I was able to drop and lose about, from 210 pounds, I dropped to 168 pounds. Just by watching my diet, eliminating refined carbohydrates. I don't want to say eliminating carbs, because I don't think it's a good idea to eliminate carbs from your diet. And from my own sort of diet change, eliminating carbs actually caused me some harm in terms of nutrition and nutrition level. But Candida itself, it wreaked havoc on my whole body and caused certain things to happen. Like I would start having allergies and sneezing fits, or sometimes even coughing fits. And this Candida infection would never go away. And where it became more advanced, where I had like these extreme abdominal pains, and at times when I was using the washroom, I would see blood on several occasions. And that's where the situation, this was like 3 years ago, where my situation was very bad. I couldn't like even do my basic things, just walking, or at my work, I was always in major discomfort. Especially, I would avoid using the washroom. But the thing is, I knew there was something wrong with me, and I couldn't. And I was booking my appointment to see the doctor, or I was sort of postponing it because of work, because of this, because of that, and it just came to. I knew there was something really wrong with me, and there's certain things that I was trying to decipher. What is it? Just the food, or is it me? And why my situation just went downhill all of a sudden. And I was always tired. So that was one thing that kept me alert was that I've reached to a certain stage of being very fatigued. Even if I got my sort of 8 hours of sleep, I was extremely, extremely exhausted, and I couldn't explain why. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor, I told her I really believe there's something in my diet that is causing me to feel this way. Because at times I'm okay, I'm better, but then other times I'm in very bad pain. So she referred me to do a colonoscopy, and I went to the specialist there, and I talked to her, and I said, like, is it because I'm not eating enough fruits or vegetables? Is my diet? Could it be my diet? I kept asking questions. I never did my research, personal research, and she was saying, no, we have to do a colonoscopy. When I went to come to do the colonoscopy, she didn't refer me to do an anesthetic, and for me, my intestines. From what I recall now, my intestines, I didn't know at that time, my intestines were inflamed, and I had no mucus layer. It was very irritable. I was in a lot of pain, especially in the rectal area. It was like, it was unbearable. And I was explaining that to her, and she wanted me to do a sigmoidoscopy, and she said, "Oh, well, you don't need to do anesthetic for that." When I came to do that procedure, I couldn't. I was almost like screaming because I could not handle anything there in that area. I couldn't, and I told her I need to, and it didn't succeed. I remember her looking and saying, "Oh, I see blood, and like yelling at me. And I told her, "You told me that this. I don't need anesthetic for this." And I'm in a lot of pain. I'm in an unbearable pain. Seriously, I was in an unbearable situation. It was not bearable. I tolerate lots of pain, like in general, like lifestyle. I can hold, but it was too awful what I was going through there. And I think it was from God, in my opinion. I think it was from God's hand that didn't go through that procedure, because they may have figured out, okay, I may have some sort of cancer or something at an advanced stage, because I came back home and she wanted me to reschedule the sigmoidoscopy. I did that. I rescheduled with her. But when I got home, I got on and I just started thinking to myself, I need to find a solution to what I'm going through. Something wrong here, and I need to figure it out. All of a sudden, I picked up, the internet, on my laptop, and I started like doing some searching. I wrote yeast infection. It just came to my mind. I wrote Candida, and a wealth amount of information came out. And one video that shot to me was a doctor, sort of like probably if you guys are into like researching Candida, you might have seen it. It's about like a cartoon showing like how our diet causes Candida overgrowth, and Candida becomes virulent and invasive. So I watched this, and it just blew my mind away because it described the symptoms that this doctor described, who made this sort of cartoon or little video about Candida, described to the dot, to the T of my symptoms, whether it's the bloating, the fatigue, the cravings for sugar, the cravings for all refined kinds of food and drink, lack of exercise, all of that, forgetfulness, blurry vision at times, all of that pertained to me. And I realized then, and it started my journey to recover, that I can recover in my own hands. The solution is there to heal. The body needs healing, and I was preventing my body from healing itself, not on purpose and not sort of forcefully, but not, unwillingly. My body was being hijacked by toxins, by parasites, by negative emotions and feelings, by stress, by many things that 21st century life is sort of hiding underneath its rug. And we're all I've reached the point we're all caught in this web of money-making scheme, whether it's your food or health. And it's up to every one of us to not stay quiet if we've seen sort of the truth about nutrition and its effect on healing. But we have to work together and spread knowledge, talk with each other and spread knowledge. And whether that knowledge is sort of not really prevalent in modern day life, but knowledge for it to be able to spread to everyone, we need to talk to each other. We need to give advice to each other and show other alternatives to ailments or disease, especially if there's sort of a wall in front of the person, whether through the medical system or even the naturopathic medical system. Or we have to work with each other to spread any sort of knowledge, especially if it pertains to nutrition and things that we eat, the things that we breathe. I can say that the amount of energy that I have being 33 now, I feel more energy than I had when I was 17 years old. I feel stronger than I was 18 years old, 19 years old. I feel more aware. I feel this has all been through recovery, through the method of elimination, cutting out the toxins that I've been putting in my body, and also cutting out certain habits that food and also thought habits that were creating negativity in my life. So that's just some of my history, my recent history, especially with Candida. And I'll be doing more videos about Candida, about my experience, and about how certain things that we are doing in everyday life, mainstream sort of everyday life, whether it's diet, whether it's lack of sleep, whether it's lack of exercise. We'll talk more about like what I tried myself and what worked for me. What worked for me may not work for you. But if I can say my situation physically and medically, I believe my situation was pretty bad. I was at the early stage of sort of, I never got a real diagnosis of what was wrong with me. It probably would have been late stage or chronic IBS. It may have been cancer. It may have been tumor, may have been something, but I know that I did some protocols. I took things in my own hand personally, and I came a long way. And I recovered. So it's a constant battle. It's never going to be like, it's a one sort of miracle cure. There is no miracle cures. There's actively or dynamically working with your body and treating it with whatever it's faced with, whether it's toxins from the pollutants from the environment, whether it's from pollutants from the food that we eat, whether it's from negativity and in the bad emotions at the workplace, at school, at your university, at home, especially those big ones for a lot of couples or people that are married, the problems at home. So I'll be doing more of these videos and talking more about what protocols I have done, and maybe if you're in that sort of situation and you're looking for solutions, the doctors can't really provide those solutions for you. If you see what I've done personally and apply it to your own sort of condition or situation, it may work, it may not work. It's no guarantee. I'm not a doctor. I'm not licensed or anything to give any medical advice. But what I'm going, I can say is my personal experiences can sort of, or pathway to recovery can also, inspire other people in the same situation. Thank you very much, and more videos to come soon.